You're welcome to another Sunday School Review O'Clock. Today's topic is God's standard for holiness in the church, and our memory verse is from 1 Peter chapter 1, verses 15 and 16. But as he who called you is holy, you also be holy in all your conduct, because it is written, "Be holy, for I am holy." One powerful truth we learn from this lesson is that holiness is not a denominational doctrine, it is God's standard for every believer. In a world where compromise is becoming normal and people are constantly redefining what is right and wrong, God's standard has not changed. He still calls his people to be holy because he himself is holy. The first part of the lesson focused on the call to personal holiness. We learned that holiness begins in the mind before it becomes visible in our actions. The thoughts we entertain, the conversations we engage in, the decisions we make all reveal whether we are walking in holiness. The lesson reminded us that holiness is not reserved for pastors, ministers, or church leaders. It is God's expectation for every believer. Holiness is not about appearing spiritual on Sunday and living differently during the week. It is a daily lifestyle of surrender to God and obedience to his word. Now, let me ask you something. When people look at your life, do they see evidence that you belong to God? The second part of the lesson focused on Christ's vision for his church. Many people think the success of a church is measured only by numbers, popularity, or programs. But the lesson reminded us that Christ's greatest desire is a holy church. Jesus did not only die to save the church, he died to sanctify and purify the church. His vision is a church without spot, without wrinkle, and without compromise. This means that as believers, we cannot become comfortable with sin simply because society accepts it. God's standard remains the same. The final part of the lesson focused on the characteristics of those who dwell in God's presence. Psalm 15 shows us that holiness is practical. It calls for integrity, truth, and honoring our commitments. The lesson concluded by reminding us that holiness is not optional, outdated, or impossible. It is God's nature being reproduced in believers through the power of the Holy Spirit. Without holiness, no one shall see the Lord. And we invite you to join us next Sunday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at 49 Longworth Avenue, Charlottetown. We would love to see you in church.